Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Laura Shirk-Witkoff, and I am the host and creator of Small and Gutsy podcast. And this is our 100th episode, and we are creating a montage of things that you've shared with us that we have garnered over the last 4.5 years of doing this podcast. And we thought we'd commemorate it to celebrate all of you. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for being my audience. I want to thank all of my interviewees and organizations. And I want to thank Pavel Franson, my sound engineer, all the people early on who really helped set me up. Nate Addy, who did my graphics for Small and Gutsy and got it exactly perfect. And I want to thank my board of directors, past and present. I'm just going to read a little bit of what I've shared. The gift you've given me by welcoming me into your organizational home has been a blessing in my life. I have fallen in love with each and every one of the organizations I've had the privilege of interviewing. And now I get to share a little retrospective, and some of you have written me knowing that this episode was on the horizon. So thank you for doing that. And some of you have done small, short videos. So we're going to play those as well and sort of hopefully make it a bit interesting. So first, I want to share some beautiful, beautiful words from our Small and Gutsy board of directors. I'm going to read it because this was just so beautiful. While the work of Small and Gutsy is to produce podcasts that showcase smaller nonprofits and social enterprises, we know that our work carries a deeper mission that has become increasingly critical: the telling of stories of hope, resilience, courage, fortitude, perseverance, ingenuity, innovation, and more. In our current climate, many nonprofits and social enterprises, and more importantly, the communities they serve, are under fire. Every day, we hear stories of individuals and communities being silenced and pushed further out into the margins. The heroic work of these organizations is needed more than ever to instill hope and build stronger, more vibrant, and equitable communities. At Small and Gutsy, we are more committed than ever to telling your story. The stories of social justice warriors, creative geniuses, and innovative thinkers. These stories, we believe, are the antidote to fear. By telling your story, not only are you getting out the message of your organization, you are, in fact, inspiring others. You are creating hope. Almost makes me tearful, right? We recognize that many people may be afraid to share their story and the story of their organization publicly these days. It may just feel too risky. We understand, and whenever the time feels right to tell your story, we will be here to help you do it. Small and Gutsy wants nothing more than to amplify your voice and the voices of the communities you serve. We are grateful to all of our partners who have worked with us, and we are equally excited for all of the stories yet to be told by new partner organizations. Your story matters more than you know, and we feel deeply privileged to get it out into the world for others to hear. So again, I want to thank every one of the organizations I've interviewed over the past 4.5 years. I want to thank publicly my board of directors, past and present. Past, Tracy Brown. Present, I have Serena Rajabian, I have Brianna Carmichael, John Gatto, Melissa Greitz, Ari McCoy, and Lucy Mello. I am beyond grateful to each of you for working with me to make this even better and continue to stand behind me. So thank you. I want to share a few statistics about our organization. They're on our website, but I want to just share them here in honor of our 100th episode. The breadth and depth of the folks we've interviewed over the last 4.5 years. So our reach is 16 U.S. states, 6 countries, and 4 continents. 65% were founded in response to issues directly in their own communities. So they rallied within their own communities to do something about it. 45% are female, founded or led, and 30% are Black and Indigenous people of color, founded or led. And we have more than 15,000 unique downloads. Now, so I'm really happy with that. I want to grow it some more, but more importantly, when you get the episode and you spread it in your networks, you are advertising the incredible work you're doing. And as most of you, or I hope all of you know by now, I started this because nonprofits can't use public dollars to market. And I can't imagine a business on the face of the earth that can survive without marketing what they do in order to be sustainable. So that's where we come in. Now, some comments from our listeners and interviewees about their experience with Small and Gutsy. Some of you named yourselves and some of you didn't, so I'll do my best. Fantastic. It was relaxed. Felt like I was having an honest conversation with a friend. No pressure. Very enjoyable. Working with you, Laura, was sheer delight, and the interview, from my perspective, was brilliant. Brilliantly staged, produced, and presented. Thank you. Intimate, thoughtful, and truly energizing. It felt less like an interview and more like an honest conversation, one where I could show up fully as myself. There was a sense of trust and openness that made it easy to share from the heart, which is rare and incredibly special. It was one of those experiences that stays with you, not because of what was said, but because of how it felt. We felt seen, so well researched and supported. Okay, these are touching my heart. So I hope I don't get emotional, but it is my 100th episode after all. It was a great experience. It was both wonderful and much appreciated to have the opportunity to talk about Big Sunday. That was one of our interviewees. I love them. With someone as insightful and compassionate as Laura. Thank you, David Levinson. Big Sunday was an episode we did a couple years ago. Please go check them out if you have a chance. They are amazing and they are totally community driven, and they often or almost always go after a community need and address it as immediately as they can. And they garner so much support to do that. It's truly amazing.
If you want to get your neighbors back, you got to have your neighbors back.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's a good bumper sticker. Yeah.
You have to lower your guard.
Yes. You have to be able to be a little vulnerable.
Working together, planting a garden or painting a fence or visiting with a senior, then and you're talking to that person, and then they are not the kid from Watts or the lady from Beverly Hills or the family from Boyle Heights or the couple from Koreatown. They're a person with a name, with a set of things they like, with a set of things they dislike, with things that they hope for, things that they dream about.
Hello, my name is Dr. Ethan Anyonwake. I am the founder and the executive director at Jazz Hands for Autism. But I wanted to take some time out of my day to really rhapsodize about my experience on the Small and Gutsy podcast as it's reaching its 100th episode. My interview with Laura on Small and Gutsy was very conversational, which is my preferred style and format of interviews. Laura was very engaging, heartfelt, and her questions really cut to the core of my why. I love interviews where tears of joy are shed, and many were shed during my interview with Laura. As an executive director, sometimes you can get too narrowly focused on the doing that you forget the why. And interviews like Small and Gutsy are so important and reinvigorating. My conversation with Laura took me out of my day-to-day to remember the reason I started and also the dream of where I'm going and taking the organization. So congratulations to you, Laura, on your 100th episode of Small and Gutsy. You're really doing a great work out here, really amplifying and empowering small nonprofits like myself, like Jazz Hands for Autism. And thank you so much for the work that you've done. And cheers to the next 100 episodes.
Hi, my name is Rep Butler, and I'm the founder and CEO of Manga Bay. It was an absolute pleasure to be on the Small and Gutsy podcast. Laura asked extremely thoughtful questions that allowed me to explain my organization's impact and how we work. So congratulations on 100 episodes, and thank you for the opportunity.
My Small and Gutsy interview was a blast. Ooh, it's the first time I heard that. Laura clearly cares so much about the org she's interviewing. It's a joy to speak with someone who is giving back and who really wants to spread the word about great small nonprofits doing the boots on the ground work for community building. Thank you, Laura, in caps. Thank you. I really enjoyed being interviewed by Laura. Her genuine interest and warmth immediately put me at ease, enabling me to share openly. Okay, this is not the Laura show, but I so appreciate this because you rarely hear this kind of feedback, and I didn't necessarily expect it. Wanted people to talk about their experience, kind of, but I guess that is the experience. Laura's questions were very thoughtful and showed that she had spent time learning about our organization. Long before I was interviewed by Laura, I was inspired by the other organizations that had podcasts on Small and Gutsy. Ooh, that's great. I love hearing that. Listening and learning about the great work that is being done in the community by so many wonderful organizations motivated me to do more and continue to find new ways to solve problems. I don't know of any other podcast that caters to the smaller social impact nonprofits. I love the stories and the passion that comes through when Laura interviews people. Thank you. I love hearing the inspiring stories of passionate nonprofit organizations featured on Small and Gutsy podcasts. Their incredible work not only transforms lives, but also deeply motivates me to seek meaningful ways to give back and make a difference. It reminds me of how amazing my staff are and what they do every day to change the lives of so many kids. I want to work harder to ensure my staff have the resources to do this transformative work. Let's root for each other and watch each other grow. We have shared it with potential donor and community partners to increase awareness about our club as it relates to how we serve our Hollywood community. Thank you. I happen to know because of what they shared. Thank you, Boys and Girls Club of Hollywood. You've been around since 1937, and it has been an honor to connect with you, Mel Culpepper, and your whole staff and your whole organization. The kids are just amazing.
How many lives have we impacted on a daily basis when we change how one child walks out of the club with the smile on her face going, I got through that homework today. I did that. I did that. And like you said, and then she goes home and she shares that with grandma, with mom, with dad, other siblings. And it carries, she walks into the store in her community different. Right? She walks into
she's full of pride.
She's full of pride, of accomplishment, of I matter. I matter.
Yeah. We are a small business, and to see the care and concern that Laura puts into all of her podcasts is amazing. These small not-for-profits are a lot of work, but the benefits are many, inspiring how Small and Gutsy is in promoting these organizations, which don't get a great deal of publicity. We love the idea of blowing up other people's projects, spreading the word, and being an amplifier for good work in progress. We've incorporated a lot of that into our work recently, and I think it really started with Laura's enthusiasm and vision. I'm so glad. And blowing up, I think you mean making bigger and better. I certainly hope so. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. And you got why we started in the first place. So you don't get a lot of publicity. That's why we're trying to support you in this way. Someone wrote in, you inspire me. Thank you. I'm excited to share the podcast with people I meet who are affiliated with nonprofits. I love its mission and support it. In a time where it seems as though media is dominated by bad news, Small and Gutsy is a reminder of the incredible work still being done every single day. To know that there are people out there dedicating their time and energy to a myriad of important causes is beyond inspiring. Hearing each organization's story has shown me how many incredible ways there are to have a positive impact on the world. I love hearing the inspiring stories of passionate nonprofit organizations featured on Small and Gutsy podcast. Their incredible work not only transforms lives, but also deeply motivates me to seek meaningful ways to give back and make a difference. That's my dog, Molly, who's telling me she's hungry. So I may have to pause this and come back after I feed them, which I'm going to do right now.
Hi, my name is Laurie Chiaro, and I was able to listen to a Small and Gutsy podcast by Laura Witkoff, interviewing the founders of the International Mentoring Group in St. Louis, a very cool organization that when women come from out of the country to St. Louis, the organization links them up with local St. Louis women so that they can get acclimated to their new city. What was really cool about the interview, besides how interesting the International Mentoring Group is, was Laura Witkoff's interviewing style. She prepares no questions. She listens to the interviewees and formulates questions as the interview goes on by such attentive listening that she's able to key off of everything they say and follow up questions in more details and the trajectory of the organization and the history, and she just pulls it all out so seamlessly and effortlessly by just being herself, just being an attentive listener. It's quite remarkable. So thank you, Laura Witkoff, and congratulations on your 100th podcast.
Hi, my name is Melissa Deely, and I am the co-founder of Girls Matter, a nonprofit that keeps girls in school in Uganda and Kenya and stops teenage marriages as a result, as we break the poverty cycle, one girl, one family, one village at a time, empowering girls with education. I want to say congratulations to Small and Gutsy on your 100th episode. I'm so excited for you, and I have to share that my interview experience with Laura Witkoff was amazing. She did her own research into the reality of girls and their inability to access education in Africa. She had her own personal experiences that she brought to the interview as well. And it was truly a fabulous and enjoyable conversation because of her own firsthand knowledge and the research that she had done that really enhanced and lifted the episode experience for the audience. And our goal, of course, is to educate the audience around what it is like for girls in other countries, and knowing that 66 million girls are out of school globally, etc. So I really appreciated that she went above and beyond to do her own research and was able to bring her own experiences to the interview. We at Girls Matter have used this interview in a number of places. It's permanently housed on our website. It was sent out to our entire email database, and we continue to share it as appropriate in various communications that we have with different organizations and different people, and will do so for a long time, because this interview, it was set up in a way that it's literally timeless. Small and Gutsy is such a wonderful podcast, and it's so inspiring to listen to and hear all of the wonderful work that others are doing around the world. When we all come together, we can lift up all of the world, all of humanity, so that there aren't some haves and have-nots, etc. And we can address the issues that we face in the world today. And no one person can do it alone. And when we all come together, it is a really powerful effort. And Small and Gutsy is wonderful at highlighting all of the different opportunities where others can come in and help. They may not be ready to start their own organization. However, they're looking for an organization with similar values that aligns for them, that they want to support. And Small and Gutsy gives them that place to learn about all the great work that people are doing, and they can choose where they want to add their support. And to anybody considering being interviewed on Small and Gutsy, I say go for it. You will have a fabulous experience. The work that you're doing will get out into the world, and there will be a ripple effect of that being shared. So it's a win-win. Definitely say yes to being interviewed with Laura Witkoff on Small and Gutsy. And again, thank you, Laura, and to your entire Small and Gutsy team for what you did for Girls Matter. It was such a joy to work with you, and congratulations on your 100th episode.
You, Laura, inspire me because your mission, vision, and artfulness are beyond none. It makes me more optimistic about the positive impact we can have on the world in the face of great challenges. Wow, thank you. Talking with Laura and responding to her questions and the setting she provided was a great way to take stock and to articulate what we do, but also to remember why we do it. That's a big purpose of why I do what I do. Small and Gutsy is a reminder that impact isn't measured by size. It's measured by heart, intention, and courage. It's a reminder to stay true to your vision, even when the path isn't conventional. Oh, words of wisdom, not from me. Thank you for sharing that. Talking about the work our hurting dog rescue does and how powerful it is when we match the right dog with the right home was such a great reminder of the power of small movements driven by dedicated volunteers. I see that power in each of the Small and Gutsy podcasts and was humbled to think that we are part of that. Laura was so easy to talk with. In just minutes, I felt relaxed, like I already knew her. We are excited for our podcast to highlight the work that small volunteer powered rescues do. It's a bonus that our podcast can also help educate adopters about the quirks of herding breeds so that they can decide if a herder is right for their home. For others who think about being interviewed for Small and Gutsy, go for it. Talk to Laura in advance and share about your organization. She tailors the interview to your nonprofit and helps you tell the story. Thank you, Lori Mercer of Helping Herders. I loved that episode. I love all of the episodes, but I love that episode in particular because I learned so much. I learned so much from each of my organizations. They're just incredible. And that one in particular, because I have a rescue, but not just that, and I don't have a herder rescue, but just the way Lori and her partners in the rescue world love these breeds and really have been so thoughtful in their approach. And they all have other lives. This is all volunteer. It's just beautiful.
I also like to think of herders as sort of a thinking person's dog because you frequently have to be maybe a little bit ahead of them in order to manage them. But I, herder people like that. That for us is really fun. But you just have to want that typically to want one of these breeds.
You are, Laura. You're a natural. I was nervous about this, but I wasn't nervous with you talking.
Oh, I'm so glad. Oh,
And I've done a lot of podcasts, and it all comes down to the interviewer. It really does. And you did a fabulous job.
Wow, thank you. Here's Piece by Piece, who I also just love Sophie's. The interview was marvelous, and she had a participant on it and her art director, and I just love this so much. From the moment we first connected, it was clear that Laura was passionate about social impact and genuinely dedicated to the work of small profit organizations like ours. Laura has a gift for fostering a relaxed environment, making it easy for me to share openly about Piece by Piece. Being interviewed by Laura felt like I was sitting in the cozy comfort of your living room. Oh my God, that really moves me. Sophie Alpert, you are amazing. And so is Dawn, who is the art director, and June. I'll never forget that interview. She is a cancer survivor, and I'm still surviving. And she is just amazing, and her art is beautiful. For those of you who don't know, they do mosaics and they help with sustainable people to get back on their feet and discover the artist within them. It's just amazing.
I was living in the vortex of Skid Row. I had an apartment right there on 5th in Los Angeles. I needed a place of refuge, a place to help me think and get my health care together. I was ran away from a domestic violence kind of situation, and I had breast cancer at the time. One of the case managers down there said, you know, check out Piece by Piece. And it was like fragments of my life, just like that were dismantled, came together there because I saw people like me that had issues, health issues, housing issues, women issues. I was watching Dawn. I met her and Miss Lee and B. Jones and Betty, Roseanne, and Julie, the whole team, and they embraced me and accept me as I am. Come on, sit down and have a peanut butter jelly sandwich. So I made this heart, and then I started watching other artists, and just got really excited about creating nothing into something.
Laura's commitment to thoroughly researching each featured organization sets her apart. She dove deep into our mission and challenges, showcasing our efforts with authenticity and respect. Her attention to detail and genuine interest helped make for an engaging podcast episode, amplifying our visibility in ways we never thought possible. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. I don't know who that's from, but I so appreciate it. Laura's thoughtful questions and insights created a platform where our voices could be heard and our stories could resonate with a broader audience. It was especially meaningful when Laura included one of our participants and encouraged her to share her personal story with kindness and grace. Thank you. Means a lot. Laura's goal to support nonprofits shines through every conversation she facilitates. Thanks to Small and Gutsy, we were able to connect with new supporters and raise awareness for our cause. And for that, we are incredibly grateful. Laura truly embodies the spirit of collaboration and impact, and we're lucky to have her as an ally in our journey. Wow, that's exactly the purpose of why I'm doing this. Congratulations on your 100th episode. What an incredible achievement. Thank you. Being interviewed on Small and Gutsy felt like a hug of support. It was incredibly uplifting to connect with someone who shared our values and brings such genuine enthusiasm for advancing organizations like Young Mountain Tea. The experience left us feeling seen, energized, and grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Young Mountain Tea. What a fabulous social enterprise. And they're my 99th episode, and they are just fantastic, really bringing farmers into the fold of owning tea factories so they can harvest and reap some of the resources so they can continue their own sustainability. It's just phenomenal.
What is the role of a systems change agent? And the way they did it, that I hope might be helpful for your listeners, was to think of a system as being comprised of all these connected actors who have their own interests and incentives. And there's going to naturally exist holes within the system. And the traditional view of solving for those holes is to come up with a solution that fits the gap. However, the adaptive leadership approach, which is what this was around, is rather than to view these as holes that need to be filled, the role of the systems change agent is to shrink the hole by bringing all of the actors closer together.
Keep going. The work is vital and so wonderful. Thank you from Onward Industries. They're also phenomenal. Please check them out.
For adults, for example, we have ongoing retreats. We have one coming up that is geared toward creative refresh. So we have this incredible artist and teacher who does different practices in meditation and mindfulness, and has a deep experience with art as a teacher and as a practitioner. And so these are small groups. These are 6 to 8 people. This one is boat-based, and it's a 4-day, 3-night overnight in Catalina, where it's summer camp vibes. We get silly. We have incredible prompts throughout the day. We have exercises. We're painting. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff. We're hiking. So it's a real interaction with the environment. It's close interaction with each other. And these are strangers. These are people who have never met one another.
You also gave folks who are considering an interview some important advice. So these are things that people said that would help people who haven't yet been interviewed. There is no downside and only positives to being interviewed on Small and Gutsy. Being featured may bring new attention to your organization, which might translate into new volunteers, learning about resources and services, or cultivating new support. I hope all of that happens. It's an opportunity to share the important work you're doing in the community. Thank you. Do it is another person's sharing. Be authentic, speak truth to power, and let the world know that small organizations have huge impact. I'm such a believer in that. Speak from the heart, be yourself, and inspire. Make sure you do your homework, as Laura will have done a lot of research on your organization and one wants to be prepared for the program, for the podcast. Yeah, I mean, your own organization. It's just fun for me to learn about you. And I so appreciate whether it's from your website or things that you've shared or things that you've sent to me that I read through. It's inspiring for me. And it's also challenging because I try to figure out a way to connect with the audience in a much broader sense. So it's not just about one small aspect, but how it impacts maybe the world or other people. So I'm so, so grateful. Thank you for that. Laugh a lot. I love that because I like to laugh. Sometimes I cry actually on some of the podcasts. Be yourself. Don't stick to the grant proposal version of you or your organization. Laura's wonderful and engaging, and it's so fun having a conversation with her. Thank you. I suggest having more than one voice speak for the organization. Staff, volunteers, board members each present a unique perspective. That's really good advice and interesting. I usually don't like to have more than 3 because it just gets too long. And my goal for the next, 5 years is to make them shorter so that I can do more and more of them. Do it. Be sure to discuss with participants in the interview the ideas you seek to get across and their roles in inspiring to do so. Although some folks ask me for the questions in advance and I don't have them because I really don't want the interview to be authentic. I want it to be authentic. I don't want it to be inauthentic. The only questions that are the same in every episode are the quick and gutsies at the end, and they're fun. And usually we get a little pearl or two, and we can capitalize on that because someone had just thought of something they hadn't thought of during the interview. So I love those quick and gutsies at the end. And those are the only standard questions I ask. Usually, I mean, I hope always it's driven by the interviewee who then kind of drives me to think about what question would be interesting for me and for my audience. Say yes and show up as your whole self. Small and Gutsy creates a space where authenticity isn't just welcomed, it's celebrated. It's an opportunity to share your why with depth and clarity and to connect with an audience that values purpose driven work. Don't overthink it, just speak from the heart. That's where the magic happens. Beautifully shared. Thank you. Some of you shared how the episode supported your organization. Our organization has been able to share the podcast both with current supporters as well as with potential new supporters. The podcast allowed us to share our story in a very interesting and engaging manner. We plan on continuing to circulate the podcast and feel honored to have been featured. That's so great. We are excited to have more visibility. One of the coolest things has been the ability to point people to this well-produced, totally polished piece of media. It's such a great asset for sharing our mission and vision. I'm so glad. That's, again, really why we're doing this. We have a beautifully polished interview that we were able to use with donors and for promotion on our website and beyond. Oh, I'm so glad. Over the time since the episode was taped, we've seen and heard from numerous people who heard the podcast and had come to help at one of our events and supported one of our programs. I'm thrilled about that. Absolutely share it. We've shared it widely on social media for fundraising and shared it with our community in our community newsletter. Everyone, I can't forget our phenomenal sponsors. So here's a word from our sponsors. To all of our small and gutsy listeners, we could not have made it to 100 episodes without the generous support of one of our biggest donors, the Trope and Trope Law Group, based in Beverly Hills, California. Founded in 1950, Trope and Trope has consistently provided personalized legal services to clients needing guidance concerning patents, trademarks, copyrights, and entertainment contracts. Trope and Trope serves as legal counsel to Small and Gutsy for all our intellectual property and internet issues that inevitably arise when producing these broadcasts. We are genuinely grateful for their ongoing support. They share congratulations on 100 episodes, and this is from them, and I thought this was so hilarious. This means that Small and Gutsy has lasted longer on the air than Gilligan's Island, which was 74 episodes over 3 seasons, and The Munsters, 48 episodes over 2 seasons. Trope and Trope truly has a sense of humor, along with being one of our biggest, most wonderful donors. Thank you, Trope and Trope Law Group. A huge shout out to an incredible sponsor and podcast interviewee. Although the episode is not yet out yet, hasn't been aired, but I have to name them because they are incredibly special. They've been a big sponsor and supporter of ours. And what they do is incredible. Mood.org. They put free, fast, and effective mental health tools in the hands of tweens and teens. And by the way, they can be used by parents and providers. I've used some of the tools, the Mood tools. That's an app. Amazing. It's creative. It's innovative. It's interesting. It is definitely youth focused, which I absolutely love. They are based in science and adapted for tween and teens, and many of their videos are created by teens. They offer parents and caregivers ways to manage their anxiety when their tween or teen is suffering. And I think truly, I wish I had had this when my kids were younger. It's a great opportunity to model for your kids. They're building resilience and skills through relatable content. I wish Mood and Mood Tools had really been around when I was much younger. Thank you, Mood, for what you are doing to support our youth, to support our providers, support parents, to support teachers and caregivers, and for your support of Small and Gutsy. We love you. You might be small now. You might be gutsy. I think you are gutsy. But my hope is that you become huge. Everyone can use Mood Tools. Go to mood.org. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Brian Hawkins here from the Do Something Cool Foundation. Just wanted to say we're stoked to be sponsoring Small and Gutsy, a podcast that shines light on awesome but also small nonprofits and social enterprises. Do Something Cool Foundation, what we do, we're all about funding projects that are innovative, and inspiring and fit within our definition of cool. Education to the arts to sport to supporting local communities. I have to say I was very hesitant about going on the Small and Gutsy podcast. It was a very long sales cycle, I'll call it, for Laura. But eventually I did go on, episode 93, I believe. And I'm very glad that I did. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and Laura was an excellent host in terms of the questions she asked and the way that, she made me feel, but also reminding me, why I started, dating all the way back to kind of diving deep on what cool meant to me and just the why and impetus behind the foundation. So thank you, Laura, for that. And big congrats on the 100th episode. Keep it up, keep it rocking. We should see 200 by the end of this year?
Another huge supporter I want to mention is a longtime colleague of mine, Dr. Nancy Zayer, the sales whisperer, but so much more. She offers coaching, consulting to help those of us who struggle with getting our products and services to the finish line. And she does it with evidence-based tools and know-how that is truly magic and not salesy, which I truly appreciate. She has given me numerous referrals for resources and was even featured on the Farm Rescue podcast. It's not yet released because she fosters dogs. She is the epitome of a mensch. Thank you, Nancy.
I'm smiling because I have participated in many such adoptions. I've had a few of the senior dogs who have, I know, gone to senior people, and yes, they were lap warmers.
I love that. And a few honors to share and more shout outs. There are just so many amazing people and organizations. We were honored by FeedSpot, recognized as number 8 on their top 30 social impact podcasts. And we were ranked 9th by Million Podcasts for their top youth empowerment podcasts for some of our episodes. We are truly proud of our vision to spotlight every smaller nonprofit and social enterprise to raise their visibility. What's really interesting for me and really surprising that I have learned over the past 4.5 years is that so many of the organizations shared that being on the podcast was one of the first times that they heard their organization introduced and talked about from an outsider, where it wasn't about a grant application or needing to put their defenses up, but it was only about celebrating and honoring their work and commitment to the people and communities they serve. I have spent so much energy thinking about the organizations that I feature. And I've covered some really tough subjects that are often really hard for me personally. And they range from cancer, including childhood cancer, addiction, grief and loss, sexual assault, domestic violence. But I've hopefully covered these with grace and respect that each topic and organization deserves. I've had the privilege of interviewing a summer camp that serves marginalized communities and even included the camp song on that episode. It was one of my absolute favorites. It was episode 10. I'll never forget it, Harbor Camps. And another that provides tools for reducing conflict for teens and young adults called Tools for Peace, that had the most beautiful original music performed by Abby Posner during her leading us in a mindfulness exercise at the beginning of the podcast. I loved it. And it put me in such a wonderful place. It was just absolutely a pleasure to interview Abby and Mamie, who's the executive director. I just loved it. Another wonderful byproduct was some of the cross connections I've been able to make as a result of building the Small and Gutsy network. One is Nancy Santullo and Rainforest Flow. It's an amazing organization. She's the founder, executive director, been involved for many, many years. And their goal is to bring fresh water to indigenous populations in the Amazon rainforest. Nancy is a gem, a deep soul, and is connecting now with Rhett Butler of equal depth in the soul department of Manga Bay, whose mission is to preserve natural habitats all over the globe and bring information and awareness about the places, animals, and people being deeply impacted by destructive forces. So thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Rhett. Some of those connections are happening even before the podcast is released. Nancy Gale, JAMA luxury handbag brand designer and owner, who founded Ambition in 2010 in an effort to integrate cause and commerce, she has an entrepreneurial program for disadvantaged youth, and its mission is to reframe their potential and to provide students with the support, access, and resources necessary to reach their goals. Nancy is a force herself, and she is amazing. And my hope is to connect Nancy with organizations serving marginalized 11th and 12th graders to help Ambition reach more young people, to help build their futures with confidence and with resilience. And Nancy has a beautiful story, and that episode will be out in the next few months. I am absolutely thrilled to have reached this incredible milestone. And thank you. Thank you for everything. So from small and gutsy to big with impact, I'm Dr. Laura Shirk-Witkoff, and thank you for listening and for being with me on this incredible journey of interviewing so many incredible organizations out there. Please go to our website, check out any past episode. I hope you'll listen to future episodes. And if you want to be interviewed, please reach out to me at laura@smallandgutsy.org. Thank you from my heart to your home and to your organization.